The morning routine. You get up, you get ready for the day, you steep your coffee. Yep, you heard me right, steeping your coffee. Susan Choi from the Food Institute here with a brand new episode of FI Spotlight. Today we're talking about a company that could be seen as a coffee industry disruptor. Steeped coffee started in 2017 as the industry's first proprietary single-serve coffee method, which is fully compostable and steeps in hot water, just like tea. No more machines, filters, or beans. Here with me to dive into this concept is CEO and founder Josh Wilbur. Josh, welcome to the show. Thanks for joining me.
Great. Glad to be here. Thanks so much.
So let's start by having you explain what steeped coffee is and how it works.
All right. Steeped is a new single-serve brewing method where we're bringing together convenience and quality. And you make steeped a lot like you would tea, but there's some main differences. We've essentially brought that tea bag experience to coffee, and done so in a way with innovation and engineering that actually makes it just work. And we've cracked the code on how to do that for coffee. And so to make it, I'll just explain this in case if anyone's going to try it, but you'll take a bag out of the pouch, and so here's a 𝗂𝗶𝗴 coffee. They get roaster of the year, so this is one of the many roasters that we work with. You'll take a bag out of there, put it in your cup, pour water over it and into the bag, so it's kind of like a pour over in that sense, and then you'll let it rest, dip and dunk for 30 seconds or so. And it'll bloom and get crema in the cup, and then that's kind of like your French press step, where it's getting agitated, and then you just let it ride. It doesn't get bitter like tea; it just keeps getting better until eventually it plateaus, and you don't have to take it out. It's just keeps getting better.
I want to hear about the backstory. How did you come up with this idea?
One day I looked down and I was packing to go to the in-laws for the holidays. And my whole suitcase was like a bag of coffee, a French press or a pour over thing in there, a scale, a grinder. And I was like, I just packed, I don't even have room for clothes just to have a good cup of coffee over the holidays. It shouldn't be this hard, and then it kind of dawned on me like, well, why is it this hard? Why doesn't coffee have its own kind of convenient single-serve method that doesn't require a specific machine and plugs and all of these things that we have to do just to have great coffee?
Yeah, it seems like steeped coffee really hits a lot of touchstones that are very relevant to consumers right now: ethical bean sourcing, sustainability, quality of product. But Josh, what would you say that steeped coffee is really focusing in on out of all of those touch points?
We're kind of focused on a lot of different aspects, but it starts with taste and flavor and what's the experience. And so our brewing method, we're not the roaster. We're partnered with roasters, and we're giving a new technology and brewing method to them to be able to package their coffee in that should taste as good, whether you're in the kitchen or in the living room by the fire, or you're in the woods with a campfire. You should have that cafe experience where it should taste just as good as being in the cafe, in any environment. And so that's always a huge focus of ours, is just consistency, quality, flavor, taste, because we're a food and beverage delivery method for coffee, and so it has to taste great. There's that perception that people have when they think like coffee in a tea bag, and we've worked really hard to get away from this is steeped coffee brewing method. This is its own thing. It's not coffee in a tea bag. We tried that. It doesn't work. We had to spend years innovating to get it just something this simple just to work.
What is your price point and who is your target demographic?
We started off focusing on partnering with the best roasters. And so we have over 500 partnerships with some of the best roasters around the country, whether they're your favorite roaster in your hometown or your city, or whether it's a more national brand that people know about or that's emerging. And so now that we have a really good foundation with roasters, now we're getting out into everyday situations where steeped adds value, where people can trial steeped for free. And then they have method awareness where they now know about it. And then that leads to adoption because people love it once they try it. So we're really focused on like hospitality or office coffee, things, airlines, things like that. So that for us is great because people get a chance to try it, they adopt it. We're at over 100 hotels just in the last year. We're working with some really premium properties. And then you asked about price point too. Like, you know, we're depending on where where we're at. So whether it's grocery, which always comes with more cost just because there's all of the extra packaging and shelving fees and all that kind of stuff. You know, we could be $1 or $2 on a grocery store shelf, kind of like, I think some of the pods and things like that are you know, in the $1.30 range or something like that at like convenience stores and things like that. So we're kind of in that same range. Big box, you know, places like, you know, Costco, I would imagine that'll be, you know, under $1 sort of thing. We provide a really good value, like what might be like a $6 or $7 cup of coffee at a specialty coffee shop, you can get for, you know, under a couple bucks.
Taking a step back here, looking at the bigger picture of the overall coffee industry, we know that there have been some challenges that the coffee industry has been faced with. You know, the main, you know, one of the factors being high bean prices, brought on by, you know, poor weather damaging a lot of coffee crops. And then looking at the consumer context, you do see a slow but steady shift away from traditional coffee and tea beverages into alternative drinks, maybe with a focus on wellness, maybe with a focus on caffeine decrease. You know, when it comes to steeped coffee, what is your strategy in maintaining a strong customer base and also attracting new consumers?
We're filling such a huge gap in the market right now. Most people don't own a machine that brews a specific method. And so that's 75% of the people walking by the shelves who can't even purchase the product, even if it's given in that format. And so I started thinking about like, wow, like we could actually help fill that space with a bunch of different roasters and blends and all of the variety that shelf is currently missing. When we drill down into the rest of, you know, like coffee challenges or, you know, new things that people are trying, we do check a lot of the boxes. So we're not worried about like on the go versus at home or versus different scenarios. It just kind of works wherever you are and whatever you're doing. And when it comes to like coffee pricing and things like that, single serve in general actually really helps protect and make efficient the commodity of coffee. We're providing more of a experience and brewing method to deliver it just what they need versus having our entire business be dependent on the cost of the bean, which is, you know, then most of, you know, that would affect us. And so we're somewhat shielded from it. I think a lot of the challenges that people face are actually strong suits for steeped. And so it's just an opportunity to step in and help out and shine in different ways.
All right. CEO and founder of Steeped Coffee, Josh Wilbur. Josh, thanks again for joining me.
Thank you. It's a pleasure being here.
And that's FI Spotlight for you. I'm Susan Choi. And don't forget to check out all the great content we've done by clicking on this playlist. Till next time, take care.